Hey guys, my name's Etienne, and on my YouTube it's ATM. I play some competitive games. Most of the time I'll play casual games, but this is my first time ever reviewing a video game and then posting it online for other people to see, just sharing my opinion, what I think about certain things, just to see where it goes. And if you like what I do or like what I am doing, what I'm gonna do, then let me know so I can continue to do it. Yeah. So I recently got my hands on the newest Killing Floor game, Killing Floor 3, and I have a decent amount of takeaways in terms of my overall gaming experience. The first thing I wanted to say about this game was that it's very, very new. I did do some gameplay, or I had some gameplay when it first came out, like the day it came out when I got back home and launched the game. I was super eager just to see how it would feel when it first came out. And I know that a lot of newer games that come out initially do tend to struggle a bit with their optimization and the overall gaming experience, because through like the stress test that they did, and from the time that they did that stress test to now, they wanted to add in more things and, you know, change up their game to make it more efficient, make it better. And from the things I've noticed, I saw that there were a lot of things that I felt were missing, and there were a lot of things that I felt were good. The first couple of things I'd like to talk about would be the weapons and the new Zeds, as well as just like what they took out from Killing Floor 2. So there are 6 classes in the game, and I forgot the names of them, but there are 6 main classes in the game, and each of those 6 classes has their own guns that are tailored to like what abilities they have, how their playstyle is. And so for each of those classes, there's only 4 guns, 4 different guns. I think in total there's like 16, but those 16 guns, there's like 4 different guns, and then 3 other guns for each gun that's modified. Basically, it's like I would have a secondary, I'd have a pistol, and then I could spend more money to add a laser sight or a compensator on the pistol, or same thing with like a sniper. I could spend more money to put a scope on it, and it'll somehow miraculously do more damage. So to me, I kind of felt like, and I know Killing Floor 3 just launched, and they most likely, hopefully, will add more content to the game. But for me, at launch, it just kind of felt a little dull. Some of the guns, don't get me wrong, they were fun to shoot. Like you'd have like some sort of sniper rifle rail gun that froze the zombies. You'd have some shotguns and an LMG for the commando class. And there were moments where using the guns felt really fun. I just wish they would have added in a higher variety of guns at launch. Moving on, in terms of the way the game feels, there are definitely a couple things that are different when comparing Killing Floor 2 to Killing Floor 3. So in Killing Floor 3, now you have this option, this ability to dodge left, right, backwards. And I do like that. I think it does help, especially when I'm, in tough situations where I have to dodge if I'm gonna get out without getting hurt. There's also an ability to slide. I don't really use it often, unless I'm getting around the map to the trader as quickly as possible. But I thought those new mechanics were pretty interesting. The sliding kind of felt a little janky, like it didn't feel smooth. It just kind of like you'd run and then you'd slide instantly. So that was kind of funny. And sometimes when you would like slide down off like a set of stairs or down like some sort of ramp, you'd like just go down that ramp almost instantly. And so like when you slide, you're really fast. And I thought that was funny. Not that that took away from the fun of and the gameplay and game experience, but that was interesting. So yeah, I don't think the movement takes away from the gaming experience. I just wish there was a higher variety of weapons to use, just to keep the player hooked in, keep me hooked in, because I'd like to be able to experiment, just like how I was able to in Killing Floor 2, and I enjoyed that aspect of the game where I could just buy anything and just like shred zombies no matter what, and just have fun testing new things out. Moving on, there's another couple key differences for Killing Floor 3 in terms of the zombie types. They do have like the basic zombies, the crawlers, the skrakes, and the flesh pounds, and those are still in the game. Very cool. I do enjoy the new mechanics that the flesh pounds and the skrakes have, where the skrakes can now like grapple you and pull you in, and then the flesh pounds, I love their new moveset where they kind of like extend out their like little their arm weapons. I don't know what they're called, and they're kind of like chains, and they kind of like swing them around, and that's really cool. I also like how the flesh pounds, and I think the skrakes can do this too, but they like break through the walls and actually like obliterate the wall in front of you, and that adds to like the fear factor to the game. I also do want to mention, I've seen some clips of the Husk, which is like this ranged unit in Killing Floor where they shoot like fireballs that explode and stuff. The Husk, I've seen clips of the Husk like get stuck on like where they spawn, and sometimes where they spawn is at like high points of the map, and so it'd be almost impossible to kill them. And I do see that being a problem in Killing Floor 3, where they would either get stuck up where they spawned, or they would just choose to sit up there and just like snipe you while you're trying to fight things on the ground. Like I remember playing on a map as a sniper, and I was shooting zombies in front of me, and then all out of nowhere I would just get damaged, and then I'd have to look up, and then I'd have to use like an outline, a red outline of the Husk in order to kill it, because it would be like almost impossible to see without that. So to me, that might be an issue, especially when there's so much happening, and then all of a sudden you get damaged, you get hurt, or you get killed because you got shot by something you couldn't even see or hear coming. So that's an issue. Another thing I'd like to talk about are the class-specific abilities. Each of the classes have their own unique abilities where they can do their own things. There's no more universal like welding where you can weld the door shut, and I kind of missed that. I missed being able to do that, and I also kind of missed just infinitely welding a door until like a huge horde of zombies broke through, and that kind of like made the experience of playing the game a little more dull. But the abilities are pretty cool. Some of the abilities, I didn't really get into the medic class, so I don't really know what the medic's ability is, but some of the abilities consisted of having like sound turrets on your shoulders with the engineer. The commando had like a flying drone that had a gun, some sort of gun to automatically target some Zeds. And then the ranger class, the sniper class, had like a little bee thing that went and killed zombies, tracked through like hordes of zombies. And so the abilities that they have are really cool. However, the cooldown for some of those abilities takes so long, and it's like you're just anticipating the moment they come back. And so that's why, going back to what I said about having a higher variety of guns, it's very important, because most of the time you're going to be using your guns. You're not just going to be using the special abilities and seeing it for only like 5 seconds, and then now you got to wait like 2 minutes. So I hope in the future, in the long run, they do something about that. So yeah. Adding on, I had this one issue where the servers went offline. Like the day it came out was the day I played, and there was probably a lot of traffic from the amount of people coming into the game all at once. But I think the servers went down, and so I played an offline game by myself, and I ended up like beating the boss and everything, but I didn't get like all the XP, even though it told me I got the XP and the items. And on top of that, I couldn't upgrade my skill tree offline, which I felt was a little strange, and I hope they fix that, because I feel like if you're playing offline, even by yourself, you should be able to level up and get experience and upgrade your skills so that when you do go online, you can play with people no matter what. And so that was kind of weird for me. There is a skill tree for Killing Floor 3, and it's not necessarily like the skill tree in Killing Floor 2, where you just like level up your character and then you can choose between two abilities and you don't have to spend like some sort of money and what. The skill tree in Killing Floor 3 is like you have more configurations, modifications to your class, and then you would spend points that you would get just through like leveling up, and doing missions and stuff. And so I thought that was cool. It definitely has a more reward type of system where it's like you get to pick and choose and you get to go for a specific build and have all your gadgets do different things. And so when I compare the skill trees from Killing Floor 2 to the skill tree in Killing Floor 3, I do think the skill tree in Killing Floor 3 does have a higher variety of different skills that you can unlock, and that ultimately allows you to customize your class to the way you want it. And for me, that was a pretty huge deal, especially if I'm going to keep playing the game on and on and on. I want to be able to look forward to getting something and unlocking something that will help me in the long run. There is a battle pass system in Killing Floor 3. I know how that sounds, and quite frankly, I'm a little disappointed, especially when you release a game that's not finished to its fullest extent. I'm looking back towards the weapon varieties, having the different customization opportunities for the characters, and also just like overall just having different abilities to use to spice up the gameplay. Like, I feel like before you even release some sort of microtransaction into your game, you should at least have over 80% of the game finished, and then the remaining 20% could be like stuff you're gonna add in the future, while also having people spend money on the game. But that's just me personally. And even then, like thinking about it, the type of game that Killing Floor 3 is, I personally don't believe you should be putting that type of system into your game, because why would I spend $40 and then end up spending another $10 or however much money I want for customizations that only make my character look cool and don't help me at all? So, I mean, to me that screams money grab. I want, the producers of a game to actually love their game and put a lot of effort into their game for the players, not because they want to meet some sort of quota and because they were told that, hey, you got to put this in because other games are doing it. So to me, that threw me off. So Battle Pass system is a no. And then the final part, the slow motion. Everybody's looking forward to the slow motion. If you played the previous Killing Floor games, you know what I'm talking about. When you're in the heat of the battle, you're killing zombies, and the slow motion comes in and it helps you like kind of take a break where you're analyzing the situation, or you're just like watching zombies explode right in front of your face and you can like see everything. And so the slow motion is cool. But my final verdict for this game in terms of rating it 1 through 10 or 0 through 10, I would have to give this game a 6 out of 10. Not really a high score. I probably should definitely go lower, I feel, because it's not really finished. So the main takeaways I have, again, it needs more content. The weapon varieties kind of lack. and I feel like if it had more for me to look forward to, even like more classes and stuff, I would definitely be hooked on the game, and I'd always be wanting to explore and try new things. But it just feels like I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again until I get to some sort of end game loadout where I have everything, all my abilities and skills maxed out, and once it's over, it's over. On top of that, it's just a simple killing floor game with the right amount of gore and action. I did have my preset set to low because it told me to, and having him on low did give me the highest frames possible. So if you're gonna get this game and you want it to look beautiful, you're probably gonna need higher end equipment if you want it to run smoothly while also looking good. So just be aware of that. All in all, I just wish there was more to offer. I did feel like when I was fighting like certain bosses, I did feel like they were kind of underwhelming, and then for other bosses it was very exciting. So I just hope in the future they add more content and they keep that like killing floor consistency going. If you do plan on buying this game, I wouldn't buy it just yet. I would actually wait for a little bit until you see like the game's being optimized better, there's more stuff to do, and they just add more, fix more of their game up. So yeah, that's my take on it.